For those of you that I don't know, I'm Kristen Kepke. I'm an instructional designer in our Center for Advancing Teaching and Learning at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Several of you have actually heard this presentation before. I don't know if several, a few of you have. So either you get a free 20 minutes or you have to pipe in when I miss something. Okay, so I did this presentation at President's Council, D12 Fusion, and the annual conference, Distance Teaching and Learning Conference. So you had I have presented it a few times, but I think the information is actually very applicable to this group. So I talk pretty fast. I'll do my best to manage the chat. So if you have questions, please interject or raise your hand. I'd be happy to answer any questions as we go along. But here's a little bit of background information. I started in 2009 in this position. I was the first instructional designer that UW-La Crosse had in title. So with that, one of my duties was to start an online instructor training program. So in January of 2010, I started this program. And since that time, 64 instructors have completed the training. It is a 3-week asynchronous training, and it's offered 4 times a year. And the idea of the training is to actually model what our students will go through. So model being an online student. So a lot of instructors that want to teach online haven't necessarily taught online, at least here at La Crosse. So I put them in the role of being a fully online student because 99+% of our online courses are offered in a fully asynchronous environment. So I really wanted to model that experience for them. And the training does have an active learning curriculum. So over the 3 weeks, instructors are actively developing a section of their course that they will deliver in the online format. So having offered this training program, my boss is a researcher, and we started talking about all this anecdotal feedback that I was getting from instructors that were saying things like, hey, taking your training really made me think differently about how I offer my face-to-face courses too. So we kept hearing these comments, and we thought, hey, maybe we should do a study. So we did. We conducted a 3-part study. The first part of the study is a survey. It's conceptions of online education. So I wanted to study before and after the training what people's conceptions were about online education before they took the training, and then after they actually sat in the seat of being an online student. So that's basically a pre and post test. The second part of the survey was pedagogical implications of the online instructor training. So after they had taken the training and after they had taught an online course, they were asked to complete a survey about things that they did differently in their online courses and their face-to-face courses as a result of taking this training. And then the third part was just kind of a follow-up to this pedagogical implications, where I interviewed instructors to ask them more detailed information about what did you actually do differently, and kind of dig into the details of what they did differently. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the quick results of the 3 parts of the survey. Can I share the survey instruments? Absolutely. Anything that I'm talking about today, I am happy to share. I believe in collaboration. So send me an email. My email will pop up at the end. Karen, I know you have it. But anything you'd like to see, I'd be happy to share it with you. So the first part is I did some research on the most common what's called in most of the research as myths in online education. But for purposes of this survey, I didn't want to call them myths, otherwise it would skew the results. So I asked some questions about things about student attention, how much do they get in online courses, academic integrity, do online courses lack community, can you cheat easier, well, all these things, okay? Do you have to be more tech savvy, whatever. So I asked them 10 questions about really kind of these most popular misconceptions about online education. And so the results of this conception survey, the 4 that are the most interesting, the first one is students get less attention from their instructors in an online course, and their responses actually changed after experiencing what it was like to be in an online environment, which I think speaks to the fact that I do engage with each and every instructor that's in the online training, and that they could see that they actually can get attention from instructors, and that it comes in different ways in the online environment. And then the second one, the online courses lack academic rigor. They actually changed their responses 75% before and 83% after, strongly disagreed or disagreed. So I'm hoping that they, as a result of the training, get a little bit more insight in terms of ways to design their course to be have high academic rigor. And then the third one is all students will want to take online courses versus face-to-face courses. So we hear this argument quite a bit at La Crosse that the students are just going to come in the masses and take online courses instead. Well, in actuality, from experiencing the online environment, I think instructors were like, well, maybe students will realize that it's not for everyone, and that's okay, which is one of the things that I do right off the bat say to every instructor. Online courses are not for every instructor, and they're not for every student. So I try to clear the air right away. And then the last one, that instructors that teach online need to be extremely tech savvy in order to offer a quality course. One of the things I try to teach in the training is that you can offer a fully functioning online course through strictly good course design and using the tools available in D2L. The training is not specific about D2L. I do partner with our D2L site administrator, Carrie, to help train faculty in advance on some D2L skills that they'll need for this training. But it's not about D2L, but I do try to tell them that they can use the tools that are available there, that they don't need to use all sorts of fancy tools, that they can integrate those as appropriate and as they develop skill and comfort. But as a result of the survey, it seems I need to make that message a little bit more clear. I do try to integrate various technologies in the training to show them how things can work and be integrated in the online environment, and that in and of itself might be a little scary for them. But yeah, any questions about the conception survey? Go ahead and add them to the chat. I'll just keep moving right along. The pedagogical implications survey, this part I think is quite interesting. I asked the questions again after they had completed the training and after they had offered an online course. And the survey is actually in 3 separate categories: technology, course design, and course delivery. And the things that I found most interesting in technology was, as a result of the online instructor training, instructors tried new D2L features. 78% of them tried new D2L features in their online courses, and 40% of them also tried new D2L features in their face-to-face courses, which I think is fantastic. That instructors are kind of taking those technology skills and those learning management skills and transitioning them to adding things to their face-to-face courses. In terms of adding media, 37% added media to their online courses, and also 33% added media to their face-to-face courses, which again is helping instructors through the online training understand appropriate ways to add media to their course delivery. In terms of course design, this is fascinating for me. 89% of online instructors that had taken the training wrote measurable learning objectives, but yet only 25% of those same people wrote measurable objectives for their face-to-face courses. I attribute this to the fact that in the online training, I actually, part of the activity and part of the course design process is writing measurable learning objectives and mapping those all back. So they're kind of forced to do that in the online environment. So they continue to do that when they offer their courses, but yet nobody is really forcing them to do that in their face-to-face courses, so they're not quite doing that yet. So that would be something that our office can continue to work on. In terms of course design, 89% also said that they aligned their course objectives with their course activities and assessments, which is great. Again, that matches exactly to the measurable objectives because we do a whole course map and alignment activity in the training. And again, 25% said that they did that for the face-to-face courses. When I get to the interview section, the people that did talk about using alignment talked about when they actually took a step back from their face-to-face courses and wrote their objectives out and realigned their course, that they felt much more comfortable and prepared for their for their face-to-face courses. Excuse me. So those 25% that are actually doing this are finding benefit to it. So that's good. In terms of course delivery, as a result of the online training, 56% said that they're more available to their students in their online environment, and 67% more available in their face-to-face classes, which is a great improvement. I think one of the things that they learned in the online training is setting limits and various ways to be accessible to your students, and this has translated to being more available to their face-to-face courses too, which is great. And then frequency of feedback, online instructors said 67% of them said that they gave more frequent feedback to their students based on the online training, and 33% said that they gave more frequent feedback to their face-to-face students as learning more about, as a result of learning more about the importance of feedback and frequency of feedback in this training. So, any questions? I talk fast. Should I slow down? Okay, I'm going to move on. Lorna, thank you for listening. The pedagogical implications, the results from the interview. Thanks, Thomas. You've listened twice now. Karen, that's a good question. Am I going to continue the surveys? I did continue the surveys. It is an ongoing study. So I started it, testing my memory, January of 2011 was the first time I did the survey. And then I did it during the 4 trainings that I offered in 2011. I did the survey through all 4 of those sessions. And then my next session is this coming January, and I will do the survey then too. I did get IRB approval to do an ongoing survey. So I don't know how long I'll keep going, but I think I want a little bit more data. Lorna, I see you have your hand raised. I'd like to pass the microphone to you to ask a question or a statement.
Thank you, Kristen. My question is, if you are continuing, since you are continuing the survey, are you only surveying the participants of your courses, I mean your program, the new participants, or do you survey those that have graduated 5 semesters ago and see whether there's any change in their pattern in technology, in course design, and such?
Sure, that is a great question. The pre and post survey goes to people who are currently enrolled in the training, and then the pedagogical implications survey goes to anyone after they've taken the training and taught a course online. So that's kind of a tracking process, and my last slide is about flaws and study continuation. And that's one of the things that I need to think strategically about, is because I have to go back and look at the people who have completed the training but might not have taught their course online yet, and kind of getting that survey back to the people who have then taught online. So yes, as people continue to teach online, our big online terms are winter intersession, so January term, and then summer. So after this past summer, I sent the survey out to people who had taught then. So after this January, I'll send the survey out to people who have taught then. So it's kind of a tracking process. But yes, it only goes out to people who have completed the training, and then people who have then the second phase, the pedagogical implications phase, that goes out to then the people who have then taught an online course. So in terms of giving that survey again to people after they offer their online course and then revise it, I don't think I'll be going to that level. Mary, that is okay, and I would be happy to answer any questions one-on-one if you have them. So, okay, great. Good question, Lorna. Thank you. Okay, so then like I said, the survey or the study was 3 phases. So the third phase is the interview results. So after getting survey data about the pedagogical implications, which I just talked about, I did some interviews, and I got some overarching themes in terms of what the interviewees said. So first of all, they talked about the benefit of being trained on writing objectives and outcomes and mapping those objectives before they design their course, and mapping everything back together to really create that sense of alignment. And really, one of the things I really stress, as Quality Matters does, if you know the Quality Matters rubric, is that whole idea of alignment. So making sure that what you're doing has a purpose, and I stress to them the importance of mapping for their education so that they know what they're doing for what purpose, and then communicating that kind of mapping process or alignment with their students. And some of the survey results that we've gotten from students actually indicate their satisfaction with instructors that do that. They tell them why they're doing what they're doing, and students really seem to appreciate that. Also in the interview results, we've heard more about how instructors have added media to their courses, both their online and their face-to-face courses, and that being kind of a different way of thinking about how to integrate things and being strategic about what media they integrate in their online course that they could also use in their face-to-face course. So they're thinking about things that they can use cross-modality. And then just overall, thinking differently about their course design. Just the idea of instructional design in general, having a concept map and really bringing things full circle, and really trying to think about their activity design, how they're going to engage their students, how they're going to meet their learning objectives in a kind of more creative way than they might have been doing before, and really forcing them to kind of think outside the box and think differently. And if instructors come out of my training with just one new idea about something that they're going to try differently, I'm happy. And to hear them say things about being able to think differently and more strategically about their online courses and their face-to-face courses is very exciting for me as a trainer and facilitator. So in terms of study continuation, the future of the study is I need more data. I have about 68 people completed the training. I think 53 people completed the conception survey, and 30-some people have completed the pedagogical implications survey. That number will increase as more people take the training and then teach their online courses. Again, this is the second bullet under future, is they only take that second part of the survey after they've taught an online course. So I'm continuing to track who teaches online, and then I can ask them to complete the survey. Since I started this training program, Carrie Nathwig-Ramsey has came on board here at La Crosse, and it's great to have her here, and she has now been able to offer a separate D2L training. So some of the people who have taken this online instructor training didn't get any separate D2L training specifically. But now they're able to attend a specific training for them on D2L alone. Again, I don't train them on D2L in this training, but they are using it, so they do need some background information, and they, sorry, got distracted by Carrie's question. Yes, Carrie, the feedback we're getting is that instructors really do appreciate having the opportunity to have kind of a, here are the key things that you need to know, and here are some excellent things that we recommend you get to know as you continue thinking about teaching online. The feedback has been great. We offer them a 4-hour face-to-face, very intensive D2L training before the fully online training starts. Please call me, Carrie. You know where to reach me. I'll have my info up at the end, too. And then the flaws in the study, you know, it is a selective group. The survey design, I have some questions about, you know, the effectiveness of how I designed the side-by-side comparison of their online versus their face-to-face pedagogical implications, because some people commented that, well, I was doing that before and I didn't know how to respond to that. So some questions in terms of survey design. And then, not that this is a flaw, this is actually a good thing, but in terms of survey comparison, the training does change every time I offer it. As every good trainer knows, like you all know in this group, every time you offer a training, you get feedback from your participants and you want to improve that training. So every time I offer the training, it's tweaked and adjusted just a little bit based on their feedback. So it's not, you know, exactly the same product every time they take the training. So could be considered a flaw in terms of a research standpoint, but not in terms of a training and instructional design standpoint. But anyway, any questions right now? Otherwise, here's my contact information. Feel free to contact me. I'm happy to share whatever. But I will open the floor up right now. I have 4 minutes. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to take them now. Ooh, thanks for the virtual applause, everyone.
Great job. Great job. Thank you. Questions?
Please call if you have questions. Carrie, like I said, you have my contact information, and as many of you do, well, it's up on the screen here. Lorna, take it away.
I was just going to ask the group before they all leave. I'm sure other are doing similar programs as well, and what kind of feedback they have in terms of did they do parallel studies and find similar findings and such. I just see. I know different campuses are doing their online training as well. Anybody speak up, please?
Yeah, Pat, we started getting anecdotal feedback too, and which is where we started doing kind of this formal feedback process with the survey. Well, we started with a, give me some feedback on the training kind of thing, but then we started doing some research, and it's kind of helped us get even more information about the success of this kind of training. And I'm sure that all of you have similar success stories. So I would be happy to talk with you, collaborate with you, whatever.
It'd be great to submit this for the Sloan C conference in Milwaukee. Did you do that?
Well, it's not for blended.
Oh, I see. It's not blended.
It's not. Yeah. It's fully online. We don't have a blended component to it, but interesting you say that because I did submit a proposal to blended, the Sloan C Blended Conference about our current process and curriculum for a blended program. So we're on our way, but this training in and of itself is not blended specific. So
okay, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
But good plug for the Sloan C Blended Conference, everyone. Submit your proposals by today. Any other questions? If not, I very much appreciate your attention, and I would be happy to discuss in further details if you're interested. And have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kristen.
Kristen, thank you again, and Lorna, thanks again for all the slides and everything, and thanks everybody for attending. Do have a restful Thanksgiving Day if you celebrate or if you don't, and enjoy the Packers playing. Go Pack!